sweet and savory. These are 3 different things that I make to make my life easier, completely homemade. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 different things that spice mixes and 1 treat, I guess it would be. Show you what I use around my home and when I'm baking and cooking. So I'm going to be showing you this first one. I've got some dried dehydrated onion in my mortar and pestle, and I'm just going to be crushing them up a little bit just so that they're a little bit finer. And what I'm showing you is how to do the everything seasoning. So you don't want it too fine, but you want it fine enough that it's not gonna be too chunky. So I'm just hammering it down a bit and working out the onions. I've got 1.5 tablespoons of minced onion, which I just ground up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty it into a bowl. Set that aside. Then I'm going to add, or 1 tablespoon I should say, of garlic powder. What you would normally use is minced garlic, but I'm using the garlic powder, so I'm using 1 tablespoon of that. I'm also going to use about 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder. And I usually buy my, I need poppy seed and sesame seed, and what I normally do is I buy it bulk. And both of those, I'm going to do the white sesame seed. Some recipes call for both the dark and the white. I just use the white. And that's 2 tablespoons of the sesame seed. And that's the light. And then I use the same amount in poppy seed. And I love poppy seed. And that's what gives you that familiar color. And what I also need is 1 tablespoon of coarse salt. And me, I limit how much salt I usually put in any of my recipes, and mainly because I don't like to have too much salt, so I'm just going to grind, I'd say maybe 1 teaspoon, but you can use the full amount, 1 tablespoon. And that's ground sea salt. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to mix it up. Now I usually, with this spice, with this seasoning mix, I normally put it with my bagels for everything bagels. I love everything bagels, and I would rather do it all from scratch rather than buying from the store, because I'm controlling what's going into them. And there you have it. Simple and easy. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so the next spice that I'm going to be showing you is a Canadian version of the Lowry seasoning salt, and this is called High's seasoning salt. It's one of the best. It's I find even better than Lowry's. Lowry's comes a close second, but this is actually something that I absolutely love. And this, like I said, is a Canadian thing. So what you're going to need is 1/2 cup of either kosher or sea salt. A lot of cooks and chefs use kosher salt. So I've got half a cup of kosher salt here. I'm going to need 4 tablespoons of smoked paprika. And I have paprika, so and smoked, because I buy a lot of bulk. And I like to have the smoked paprika. So that's 4 tablespoons. I also need 2 tablespoons of a good smoky chili powder. That's 2 tablespoons. I'm also going to need 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. And I love my garlic. And I'll put the rest of it. Okay, so now I need a tablespoon of black pepper. And you just keep piling it into a small bowl. I need a half a tablespoon of white pepper. I'm just going to use my tablespoon measurement and just eyeball half. And also you need a tablespoon of sugar. It can be white sugar, it can be organic, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you need and that you've got on hand. And I also need mustard powder. I need a tablespoon of that. And that goes in there. And what I'm going to do is just give it a light mix and keep mixing it until it's well blended. And this, like I said, is your seasoning salt that you can use for anything. I use a lot of times I use this on my, I make eggs with leftover potatoes for sort of like a hash. If you want to add like a little bit more of something, like if you want more pepper in it, you can have more pepper. It doesn't matter, but this is absolutely, undeniably delicious. So you can stop going out and buying the expensive Lawry's or high seasoning salt, and just go out and make your own with various spices. At least you know what's going into it. And there you have it. Okay, so now this final one, it's not a spice, but it is a mix, but it's a treat as well. It's a treat as well, so what it is that growing up, I remember when my mom used to buy Nesquik, chocolate milk mix, that is, and I enjoyed it as a kid, and you can too, without any additives and preservatives and everything else, and you know what's going into it. So what you're going to need is 1/3 cup of cocoa, believe it or not. Of course, that's the main ingredient. Then you're going to need 2/3 cup of course, sugar. And you are going to need a pinch, and I mean a pinch, of salt, which helps bring out the sweetness from the sugar and the cocoa. It balances it out, and it helps remove bitterness. And what I'm going to do is just give it a good mix. And you know what? It tastes just like the Quick. So it's simple to make, just 3 ingredients. And you can mix that better later on, and then just put it in a container, mark it as Nesquik, and you're good to go. You add 2 tablespoons and to a glass of 8-ounce glass of milk, and you're ready to go. So thanks for joining me. Catch you in the next one.